Hello student, welcome back. This is Vasan Naik from Canara Engineering College. Today we will study congestion control. In this session we will see what are the problem of congestion control in general, what are the different types of congestion control, and why congestion is a bad thing, how network congestion modifies the performance received by the upper layer applications, and what are the mechanism used by TCP, that is Transmission Control Protocol, to adopt congestion in the network. First one is we will see what is a congestion. Now, first of all, what we will see what is congestion. Congestion in informal way is too many sources sending too much of data too fast for the network to handle. That is, too many sources, many hosts sending too much of data that network cannot handle at a time. That is called as a congestion, and it is different from a flow control. Now we will see now why congestion control is required in the internet. You know, in internet TCP makes use of many flows. So it is the goal to give equal priority of share of bandwidth to the each flows. So in order to give equal priority, now what are the two approaches towards the congestion control? The two broad approaches towards the congestion controls are, one is end-to-end congestion control, second one is a network assisted congestion control. So end-to-end congestion control, this is the approach used by TCP, Transmission Control Protocol. So in end-to-end congestion control, there is no particular feedback from the network. That is, congestion, whether the congestion occurred or not, that is perceived by the end system based on the either observed loss or delay of the packets. So this approach is taken by TCP. Here for the end system, in this approach, network layer provides no actual support to the transport layer for congestion control purposes. Even if there is a congestion occurs in the network, that must be perceived by the end system based on the some like observed network behavior, such as loss of packet or delay. So TCP must take here proper necessary action for end-to-end approach towards congestion control. Since IP layer provides no feedback to the end system, so TCP will observe the behavior of the network, like segment loss or particular packet timeout or triple duplicate acknowledgement. All these things are taken as an indication for network congestion, and TCP decreases its window size, that is congestion window size, accordingly. That is called as end-to-end congestion control. Now we will move on to network assisted congestion control. In network assisted congestion control, the network layer, that is the route switches in the network layer, that is the route switches in the network, provides explicit feedback to the sender. It provides a feedback to the sender regarding the congestion state in the network. Like this feedback may be a single bit indicating congestion at the link. Based on this feedback, the sender will reduce the transmission rate. So we have two approaches in the congestion. For the approaches for the congestion, one is called as end-to-end congestion control, second one is a network assisted congestion control. Network assisted congestion control is used by ATM, asynchronous transport mode. Then end-to-end control is congestion control is used by transmission control protocol. Now we'll see TCP congestion control. Which mechanism TCP will use for congestion control? TCP will use additive increase, multiplicative decrease approach. That is, the sender increases the rate of the window size, that is rate or window size, which is based on control window, which is based on congestion window or control window or congestion window. So it will increase the size of the congestion window by one segment until it receives RTT, that is until it receives the acknowledgement. As soon as it receives the acknowledgement, it will increases the congestion window by one segment. Suppose if it detects any loss, then it will decrease the congestion window either to half or to initial size, that is 1 MSS or 2 MSS. This approach is called as additive increase or multiplicative decrease. Because of this approach, you can see here in TCP we will see AIMD sawtooth behavior probing for the bandwidth. So here you can see the sawtooth behavior of the congestion window, and this mechanism is called as AIMD, additive increase and multiplicative decrease. So now we will look into the TCP congestion control in detail. Before moving on to TCP congestion control, I have already told TCP adopts AIMD, adaptive increase multiplicative decrease mechanism, where initially it will increase the congestion window size rapidly or exponentially, and that is also called as a slow start phase. And later, if it observes congestion in the network, then it will decrease the window size, that is congestion window size, to half of the window size or to the initial size. Because of this, the congestion window behavior looks like sawtooth waveform as discussed earlier. Now we will see the TCP congestion control. So here you can see the sliding window for the congestion control. Now what exactly congestion window defines? Congestion window is a set of packets that is sent and but not acknowledged. Here in the diagram you can see this is the congestion window. Actually the packets in green color or the packets in green color here captures the packet which has already sent and acknowledged. The packets which are in yellow color captures here the packet as sent not yet acknowledged, that is the packets are in flight. And the third one is the packets which are in blue color indicates this packet could be sent, and packets in gray color indicates the packet cannot be formed at the moment. So now essentially the congestion window this is the congestion window, and congestion window is defined like last byte sent minus last byte acknowledged, that is equal to congestion window. And you have to remember here congestion window is a dynamic function. Congestion window is a dynamic function of perceived network congestion, that is TCP perceives the network behavior based on lost segment, delay in the segment, or duplicate acknowledgement. Based on this, size of the congestion window varies. So congestion window is a dynamic function, and the rate of TCP sending rate or the TCP sending rate is measured by congestion window and divided by RTT. So far I have told you the TCP congestion control. Now we will see in detail the TCP congestion control algorithm. So TCP congestion control algorithm contains 3 stages. The major components of this algorithms are: one is called as a slow start, second one is a congestion avoidance stage, third one is a fast recovery or congestion stage, congestion stage. So slow start and congestion avoidance are mandatory component of TCP. So first we will see what is a slow start stage. Now we will see the first stage of TCP congestion control algorithm, that is slow start stage. When the TCP connection begins, the value of the congestion window here is typically set to one maximum segment size. That is one maximum segment size. Now, in slow start state, the value of the congestion window begins with 1 MSS and increase by 1 MSS or double by 1 MSS on receive of acknowledgement for the every segment. That is, it will double the congestion window size as it receives acknowledgement for every segment sent. So in the diagram you can see here, TCP sends the first segment into the network. It will send the first segment into the network and wait for the acknowledgement. So to get the acknowledgement, the time taken is RTT, 1 RTT. You know what is RTT. As it receives the acknowledgement, then it will increase the congestion window size by 2. That is, it will increase the congestion window by 1 MSS and sends out 2 maximum size segments. These segments are then acknowledged with the sender increasing the congestion window by once again by 1. That makes the congestion window of size 4 MSS and so on. Here you can see first it will send the one segment and after receiving the acknowledgement it will doubles the congestion window size. Now it will set the congestion window to 2 segments and it will send the 2 segments. After receiving the acknowledgement for the 2 segment, the congestion window segment size is increased by now 4. That is it grows like exponentially. That is 2 raised to power 0, 2 raised to power 1, 2 raised to power 2, 2 raised to power 3. In this way, so here the names TCP slow start, it is a confusing. That is, initial rate is slow, but it ramps up exponentially faster. That is, the initially it start with 1 or 2 maximum segment size, but after that it grows actually according to exponential way it grows. So that is called as TCP slow start. Now the question comes, when this TCP slow start should end? The answer for this one is, if there is a loss event or if there is a congestion, automatically TCP slow start sets the value of congestion window to 1, depending on the timeout. Otherwise, it will make use of one more variable that is called as slow start threshold. That is SSTHRESH. This is the one more variable. Normally the value of this variable is set to half of the congestion window. When slow start reaches this stage, then automatically TCP transition into congestion avoidance phase. So here TCP slow start ends and it will move to TCP congestion avoidance stage. So now we have to see what is TCP congestion avoidance stage. So students, as I said, the TCP makes use of end-to-end congestion control. In end-to-end congestion control, like sender perceives the network behavior for the congestion based on either loss indicated by the timeout. You can see here either loss indicated by the timeout. In that case, congestion window size is set to 1 MSS. Then the window then grows exponentially. Once again, it will start in the slow start phase only till it reaches the threshold value. Suppose the loss is indicated by 3 duplicate acknowledgement. First case, the loss is severe, that is congestion is severe. Second case, the congestion is mild, that the loss is indicated by 3 duplicate acknowledgement. Then the congestion window size is set to half of the congestion window, that is threshold value is set to half of the congestion window. So this mechanism is used by TCP Renault, and the earlier mechanism is used by TCP TOP. There are 2 mechanisms. One is called as TCP Renault and second one is a TCP TOP. TCP TOP always sets the congestion window to 1 when there is a duplicate acknowledgement or timeout, 3 duplicate acknowledgement or timeout, and TCP Renault sets the congestion window size, or it sets the threshold value to half of the congestion window when it detects the 3 duplicate acknowledgement. So students, so far we have studied what is TCP congestion control and different stages of TCP congestion control, that is slow start stage, that is then congestion avoidance stage, then third one is fast recovery or congestion stage. So in the out of these 3 stages we studied slow start. In the slow start, actually TCP set the congestion window size to initially to 1 or 2 MSS. That's why the name slow start. After that it grows like exponential way. So the name of slow start is a bit confusing, but but it refers to the initial rate, that is 1 or 2 MSS. After that it grows exponential way. Now once it reaches that is SS threshold, that is threshold value, that is a variable, then it enters into the congestion avoidance stage. It will enter into congestion avoidance stage. So now this slide or this diagram shows the all stages of TCP congestion control. This is the slow start stage where you can see it starts with the initial segment 1 MSS. So after receiving the acknowledgement for the segment sent, then it will increase the congestion window to 2 and it will send the 2 segment. After receiving the acknowledgement for 2, it increases the congestion window to 4 and it will send the 4 segments. Now the sender, after receiving the acknowledgement for all the 4 segments, it will increase the congestion window to 8 and now it reaches the threshold value. Once it reaches the threshold value, here the slow start phase will get end and it will enter to congestion avoidance phase. This is called as congestion avoidance phase, where the additive increase and multiplicative decrease concept comes in. Here it will increase the congestion window size by 1 segment. For example, initially it will send here 8 segments and it will set the congestion window to 8. Now after receiving the acknowledgement for all the 8 segments, it will increase the congestion window size to 9 and it will send the 9 segment. After receiving acknowledgement for 9, it will increase the congestion window size to 10, then it will increase the congestion window size to 11, then it will increase the congestion window size to 12. Now assume that at congestion window size 12, it will miss some of the acknowledgement. In that case, so here you can see we are discussing about TCP tau, that is the blue line curve, TCP tau. What it will do is it will aggressively decrease the congestion window to initial segment, that is 1. If it detects the congestion, it will decrease the congestion window congestion window size to 1 and it will set the threshold value to half of the congestion window size. So what is the congestion window size here during the time of loss? That is, the congestion window is 12. So it will decrease the congestion window. So it will set the congestion window size to half of this congestion window, that is 6, and it will move to the slow start phase with the initial segment. I mean segment that is initial segment, that is MSS1, and once again it will continue in the slow start phase. Here you can see it will start from the slow start phase, then it will send the one segment. After receiving the acknowledgement, it will double the window size, congestion window size. After that it will double the congestion window size. After that it will double the congestion window size. Once it reaches the threshold value, then it will move to the congestion avoidance phase. This is called as this is the behavior of TCP tau. There are several versions of TCP. We are discussing here TCP tau and TCP Reno. In TCP Reno, when the congestion occurs, for example, in this case, congestion occurs at congestion window 12, it will set the congestion window to half of the congestion window size during the time of loss. That is, half of the congestion window size is nothing but 12 divided by 2, that is 6, and from there it will increase in additive manner, that is it will send 6 segments here. After receiving the acknowledgement, it will move to it will set the window size to 7. After receiving the acknowledgement, it will increase the window size to 8. In this fashion, it will increase the window size till it receives the congestion. Once it receives the congestion, once again it will decrease the congestion window size to half of the original window size. So this is the working of TCP congestion control algorithm in slow start phase and congestion avoidance phase. Students, now we will see the summary of TCP congestion control through FSM. Here you can see initially TCP connection starts with the slow start, slow start phase. Here you can see the different variables I have already explained. So in the slow start phase, actually congestion window size is set to 1 ms, threshold value is set to 64 kb, and duplicate acknowledgement is 0. So now it will continuously monitor for the duplicate acknowledgement. That is, if it receives that 3 times consecutive duplicate acknowledgement, then it will move to fast recovery stage. Otherwise, if it gets new acknowledgement, then it will increase the congestion window. I mean, it will double the congestion window size like this. Or in case timeout occurs, directly it will move to slow start phase. Directly it will move to the initial value. That is, it will set the threshold value to congestion window size divided by 2, and congestion window size is set to initial 1 maximum segment structure, MSS, and duplicate acknowledgement variable is set to 0. This is the slow start phase. From slow start phase, if the congestion window size is increases above the threshold value, then it will move to congestion avoidance. Here congestion slow start phase ends and it will move to congestion avoidance. In congestion avoidance, it will wait for the acknowledgement. When it receives the acknowledgement, it will increase the window size in additive manner. That is, in slow start phase, the window size would have get doubled, but here window size will increase 1 segment at a time. So the window size is calculated here by this formula, and duplicate acknowledgement is set to 0. And here also it will monitor for a duplicate acknowledgement. If it receives duplicate acknowledgement 3 times continuously, then it will move to fast recovery. In the fast recovery stage, it will not wait for this one. It will not wait for a timeout. It will instead of waiting for a timeout, it will retransmit the lost segment. So for that, it is the value set here as shown here. Otherwise, if the timeout occurs here also, in this stage also, if the timeout occurs, then it will directly move to slow start phase, and in the slow start phase, it will set the threshold variable to this value and congestion window to this value and duplicate the equivalent variable to this value. And in the fast recovery also, or from the fast recovery, once again it will move back to congestion. There is a possibility it will move back to congestion avoidance phase. Otherwise, fast recovery, from the fast recovery it can move back to slow start, or from the slow start, if it detects 3 times duplicate acknowledgement, it will directly move to fast recovery. So this is the FSM view of the TCP congestion control. So now we'll sum up with this with the TCP fairness. What is the main goal of TCP fairness is, if you are using multiple flow, then each flow should get equal amount of bandwidth. Like particular flow should not hog the bandwidth. So here you can see TCP sessions have this same bottleneck link of the bandwidth R. Each should have average rate of RK. Here you can see 2 TCP connections are there, but one is getting more bandwidth compared to the other if the bottleneck is there in the router of capacity R. So why is TCP fair? So when you compare UDP and TCP, TCP is fair. Why? Because it will use additive increase, gives the slope of 1 as throughput increases, and multiplicative decrease the throughput proportionally. So you can see here, this option, this one. So if you see fairness with respect to UDP and TCP, in case of UDP, normally UDP is used under, like in the scenario of multimedia application. Then multimedia application don't use TCP, that makes use of UDP, and don't want to rate throttled by congestion control. Instead of use UDP, send audio video at a constant rate. But in the case of TCP, you can see here, if suppose there is a link of rate R with 9 existing connection, so new application asks for 1 TCP gets a rate of R by 10, new application asks for 2, new application 2, then TCP gets rates of R by 2, something like this. So with this we'll end TCP congestion control. Thank you.